Well, hello, everybody. Stephen Mead here with Domicile Real Estate, where we are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners. And this is our market update that is specifically for first-time home buyers. So we talk specifically about the entry-level market here in Southern California, and we use our data stats from Los Angeles and Orange counties. Obviously, if you have questions about neighboring counties to those, feel free to ask us. We love getting questions and comments, whether you're watching on Facebook or our YouTube channel. And if you are watching on our YouTube channel, please do be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you can hear when we have our new update videos. So, as we typically do, really our goal for these shorter updates is just to give you an idea of what's going on with two things: affordability and availability. So for example, affordability is obviously how much houses cost, and availability is how much inventory is there and how fast is it moving. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of jump into some of our slides here, and we can kind of go over what's going on in the market for entry-level buyers. So what you're looking at here is a chart that we've done of pricing of both entry-level single-family homes and entry-level condos. Just as a reminder, for us, our entry-level homes, we take a subset of the market and we do 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family homes. And we also take what's called a quartile, which sounds like a super nerdy term, but basically it means this. If there is the bottom of the market is 0, and the most expensive 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is 100, we're looking at that 25% level. So somewhere between the cheapest and the middle. And that's really a good approximation of sort of where entry-level buyers tend to fall in the market. And then we do the same thing with condos, but we base it on a 2-bed, 2-bath condo. So, if you're looking on this chart here, our single families, as you would expect, are more expensive than condos. I don't know why our number got cut off here, but it's basically 645. So we've seen a very steady increase, right, since August, since the end of August. We're almost a month through. Pretty significant price increases here in both categories, right? We're at 430 on August 27th, and now as of 9/17, we are at $454,000. So we are seeing these prices steadily rise up, but there is some good news, and that good news is that interest rates really are just at a low level. They're staying. In fact, they've even gone down slightly. So what we did is we wanted to give people an idea based on a 5% down payment scenario, what their total payment would look like based on these sort of, and this sort of idea of this entry-level property. So here for single family homes, we come out with a number of 3638. This is important because not only is this the highest number that we've tracked so far, but it's slightly higher than 2 years ago. Now that's actually surprising to a lot of people. They would think that payments would be a lot higher than 2 years ago, but they're actually not. And the big part of that is our interest rates. Now, if we look down here for condos, the story is a little bit different. And this is the reason why we break these numbers out, because they don't always move at the same level. And so we're at 2834. We are still below our 2018 number for that entry-level 2-bedroom bath condo. And then just to provide a little bit of context, we calculate our income, our minimum household income required if you have no other debts to be able to support that payment and qualify for a loan. For entry-level single-family home, that number is $89,095 a year. And for our condo, it is $69,404. So if you are a first-time home buyer who is sort of sitting on the sidelines wondering, what does this actually mean for my affordability? This kind of gives you a baseline idea of the minimal income that is required to be able to qualify for those payments. Now, one of the things that's important to remember is that when we look at this sold data is 30 days old. So that doesn't always tell the story of what's happening exactly on the ground at this moment. And to be honest, we're actually seeing the price increases are flattening out a little bit. And I think we'll start to see that in the coming weeks in our sold data. We're seeing that there, in fact, is a limit to how fast those prices can rise. We're also seeing some more sellers come into the market, which sort of leads us into our next point, which is availability. How available are these homes? How many homes are out there? So let me go ahead and bring that up here on our screen share. And let me move up the next slide here. This is our absorption rate. And what we try to do with this graph is we are taking a look at how fast are the new listings coming into the market being absorbed by going into escrow. And one of the things that's happened that you can't really see in this graph is that new listings are up, but so are new escrows, even into the fall. Typically, election years are a little on the slow side going into September, October, not this year. And I think what that's really telling us is that this market is still what I call supply constricted. That means more houses would be selling if we had more inventory out there. That we don't have a shortage of buyers, we still have a shortage of listings. If you have talked to anyone who's bought a house recently, they will confirm that it is not a shortage of buyers, it is definitely a shortage of listings. This absorption rate when we first started tracking was really high. Now we're seeing, these numbers are what I call a very brisk seller's market. They're not insane and crazy, but they're very, very solidly in favor of the seller. Now, if we look at how does our availability look, these charts talk about how many weeks of supply of homes do we have. And we calculate this a little bit differently than other people. We take a look at all of the active homes that are available as of right now, how many of these entry-level homes actually exist on the market. And then we look at how many of them went into escrow in the last 2 weeks. And by doing that, we can sort of get an idea of how many weeks of supply. And one thing you'll notice on these charts is that while they move around a little bit, these numbers are really pretty steady. We're not seeing a huge change. The other thing you'll notice is that if you were considering a condo, you basically have twice as many homes to consider as you do if you are looking at a single family home. And that's actually pretty typical. The condo market is usually a bit softer than the single family home market. But as you saw earlier from the pricing, that also is indicated in prices that are holding a little steadier. Those payments are still lower than they were 2 years ago for these entry-level properties. If you are a first-time home buyer sitting on the market, something I'm going to talk about really briefly is, we have these moments of time that I think are really good opportunities for first-time home buyers. If you have a secure job and you're not worried about your income, this is one of those times of opportunity. And we did a little bit of analysis for another client of ours. We said, well, what if interest rates go to 4.5%? Even if prices drop 5%, it doesn't even make a difference. The payment still goes up by hundreds of dollars a month. So when you're trying to evaluate that sort of should I stay renting and should I buy relationship, there are very few times when that relationship is going to be as good as it is right now. Anyhow, thanks so much for watching. We love questions, comments, and again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you again next week for another episode of our first-time home buyer market update.